My great-great-grandfather left his father standing on a beach. Tomorrow morning, my granddaughter will leave me standing on another. 300 years, and somehow our family is still crossing the same sea. Tonight, before she sails, I must tell her what we carried. She found me locking the warehouse.
Grandfather, I can't sleep.
Neither can old men.
Walk with me?
So we did. One last walk through the city our family had called home for generations. The harbour never truly sleeps. Even after sunset, someone is still unloading grain, someone is still counting jars, someone is still arguing over prices, and somewhere, someone is always saying goodbye. My granddaughter looked across the water.
I've watched ships leave since I was a little girl. I never imagined one day I'd be standing on one.
I said nothing. Old men learn that silence is sometimes kinder than advice. After a while, she asked,
Grandfather, have we always lived here?
I looked around the harbour, the stone quays, the warehouses, the fishing boats, the merchant ships from Cyprus, Phoenicia, the islands, and the Nile itself. Then I smiled. No family has always lived anywhere. Someone always crossed the sea first. My great-great-grandfather was born near Miletus. His father owned land, enough for one son, not two. His older brother inherited the fields. He inherited a spear. That was happening all across Greece. Cities grew, families grew, land did not. So young men went looking for tomorrow. Some sailed west to Sicily. Some founded new cities along distant shores. Some became merchants. Some became fishermen. And some, like my ancestor, sold their strength to foreign kings. Egypt had long welcomed Greek and Carian soldiers. Its pharaohs knew the sea brought warriors just as surely as it brought merchants. A few years of service meant silver. Silver meant land. Land meant marriage. Marriage meant children who might never know the hunger their father had known. So he kissed his mother, embraced his father, and promised,
I'll come home.
Every son promises. He crossed the sea, not because he stopped loving Greece, because he loved children who had not yet been born. He fought. He survived. His service ended. He counted his silver. There was enough. Enough to buy passage home. Enough to buy a small field. Enough to begin again. Then, someone offered him one more contract, one more season, one more harvest, one more year. Egypt never begged him to stay. She simply whispered, tomorrow. You can leave tomorrow. Tomorrow became another tomorrow, then another. He entered trade. He learned Egyptian names, Greek names, Phoenician names. He learned that men bargain in every language. He married, and one autumn morning, a midwife placed a little boy into his arms. Our family says that was the last day he ever carried the spear. From that morning, he carried his son. He never crossed the sea again. My granddaughter stopped walking. She looked toward the dark water.
Did he stop missing Greece?
No.
Then why didn't he go home?
I watched a father lifting his sleepy daughter onto his shoulders. Then I answered, because one day, home started calling him father. She lowered her eyes. Neither of us spoke. Some answers need silence more than words. We continued walking. When my great-great-grandfather arrived, there was no city, like the one you know. Only warehouses, quays, markets, a place where Greeks could trade with Egypt. Then Pharaoh Anabasis made Naucratis our official home. Merchants came from every Greek city: Milesians, Samians, Aeginetans, Chians, Rhodians. Men who argued endlessly back in Greece built shrines together here. The Hellenian stood as proof that sometimes distance teaches people they belong to something larger.
So Greece became united in Egypt?
Only until someone mentioned prices. She laughed too. That sound was worth every warehouse my grandfather ever built. We passed an Egyptian temple. She bowed. So did I. Our house, I remember, had both Apollo and Isis.
Did that ever feel strange?
It would have felt stranger to choose only one. She looked surprised. I smiled. My grandmother baked Egyptian bread. My grandfather insisted Greek bread tasted better.
So who won?
I did.
How?
I ate both. She laughed again. I prayed, silently, that I would remember that laugh for the rest of my life. People think cities are built with stone. They're wrong. Cities are built the first morning a stranger wakes up and realizes he no longer feels like one. We had reached home. The lamp was still burning. Tomorrow, she would leave. The city had forgotten sleep. Every street led toward the harbour. Alexander had entered Egypt. Some people celebrated. Some watched from rooftops. Some hurried to sell bread before the army bought it all. Kings always arrive with hungry men. I stayed where I was. Tomorrow was still heavier than today. My granddaughter disappeared inside.
I'll finish packing. I'll only be a moment.
I nodded. Then someone knocked. A young soldier stood outside. His beard had barely begun to grow. Dust covered his sandals. A spear rested across his shoulder. For a heartbeat, I forgot where I was. 300 years disappeared. I was looking at my great-great-grandfather, not as I had imagined him, as he must have been. Young, hopeful, certain he would return home. He cut my thoughts and said, "Forgive me, I'm looking for the grain warehouses." "You've already found one." He laughed. I asked him if he had been marching all day. He nodded. "Come. Eat first." He hesitated. "I cannot pay." Neither could my grandfather. He looked confused. Then he followed me inside. My granddaughter placed bread before him, fresh, still warm. He thanked her with the awkward smile of a man far from home. For a while, we simply ate. Young people fear silence. Old people discover that silence often says what words cannot. Finally, I asked, "Where is home?" "Pella." "Your parents?" "My father farms. My mother worries." Mothers usually do. My father worries too. I keep telling him I'll be home before he knows it. I looked down at my bread and said, "So did my grandfather. But I mean it. So did he." The room became quiet, not uncomfortable, only honest. His eyes wandered to the old spear above the doorway. "That's an old weapon." "It is. It belonged to my ancestor. The bronze had long ago lost its shine." "You keep it to remember him?" I looked at the dark wood. "No. I keep it to remember what he chose." "What did he choose?" Before I could answer, my granddaughter spoke.
He chose to stay.
"No. He chose to put it down." "I don't understand." "You will. One day, someone will place your child into your arms. On that day, you'll understand what becomes heavier than a spear." He looked down at the bread in his hands. Almost without thinking, he touched the shaft of the spear resting beside him, as if wondering whether one day he too would put it down. When he had finished eating, he stood.
"You've shown me more kindness than I expected from strangers."
I smiled. "We are no longer strangers." He adjusted his cloak, then asked quietly,
"Do you regret staying?"
I looked around the room. My father's scales, my grandfather's ledger, the old spear, my granddaughter folding the last of her clothes. Then I said, "Me? Never. That's my home now." But my great-grandfather thought of leaving every spring. The soldier nodded, then disappeared. Morning always arrives, too early, when someone you love is leaving. The harbour was crowded, merchants shouted, sailors tightened ropes. Children waved, parents pretended they were not afraid. My granddaughter stood beside me. She carried one small basket. Inside, a dress, bread, a little carved figure her grandmother had loved. Nothing more. She looked at the old spear one last time.
Should I take it?
No.
I knew you'd say that.
Then she asked the question she had been carrying all night.
What should I carry?
I reached above the doorway. For the first time in years, I took the spear down. The wood felt smooth, not from war, from generations of hands. I laid it gently on the table. Not this. She waited. I placed my hand over hers. Carry the reason he picked it up.
And what was that?
I looked toward the sea, toward the ships, toward the young soldier already marching behind his king, toward my ancestor walking away 3 centuries earlier. Then I answered, love.
Love?
I smiled. Love that believed, hope was worth the journey. The hope that your children might live better than you. The hope that one day they would cross the sea because they wished to, not because they had to. She kissed my forehead. Then she walked toward her ship. I raised my hand. She waved. I waved back. She waved again. Then the ship began to move. She became smaller, then smaller still. I kept waving, long after she could no longer see me. Long after the ship became only a tiny white dot on the horizon.